I'll never forget the morning I walked out to feed my cattle and found a brand new Bentley sprawled across the barn door, blocking the only way I could get my tractor out. The chrome still smelled like fresh wax, the tires barely had dust on them, and there she was, Karen the queen bee of our HOA, leaning against it with a smirk like she owned the place. That wasn't just bad parking, that was war, and she knew it. My name's Tom Harris. I'm 52 years old, and I've lived on this patch of land my entire life. My father built that barn with his own hands. My grandfather taught me to mend fences before I could drive a truck. This place isn't just wood and dirt, it's heritage. And yet somehow, ever since the HOA showed up, it's been treated like a nuisance. Rules piled on rules, fines for things like stacked hay bales or a rooster crowing at dawn. And at the center of it all was Karen oversized sunglasses, wide-brim hat, clipboard in hand, like it was a sheriff's badge. She didn't see a farm, she saw an eyesore. The first time she came to my property, she wrinkled her nose, said the barn didn't meet community standards. I laughed right in her face. That barn had stood longer than any of the cookie-cutter houses in the cul-de-sac. But from that day on, she made it her mission to make my life hell. Complaints about dust, about manure, about the sound of tractors. She once told me to tarp my hay bales because they were an eyesore. I asked if she wanted me to put curtains on the cows, too. She didn't laugh. Karen never laughs unless it's at someone else's expense. So when I saw her Bentley blocking my barn, I knew this wasn't an accident. She called out in that syrupy tone, "Good morning, Farmer Tom. I just needed a place to park while the landscapers finish my driveway." The dealer tags were still hanging from the mirror. I told her this wasn't a parking spot. This was my barn. I needed the tractor out now. She tilted her head, feigned innocence. "Can't your tractor take a break? Maybe you should modernize, Tom. This whole operation is so outdated." That laugh lit a fire in my gut. I called the sheriff. The deputy told me it was a civil matter, that they couldn't do much. I went to the HOA meeting, explained that she'd blocked me from feeding my cattle. Karen interrupted me in front of everyone, said my animals could wait a few hours. The board chuckled along with her, told me to be more accommodating. I walked out of that meeting with nothing but the sound of Karen's laughter trailing behind me. That night, sitting on my porch, I felt the weight pressing down. I'd tried reason, I'd tried the law, and every door slammed shut in my face. I started wondering if maybe Karen was right. Maybe I didn't belong here anymore. Maybe I should sell the farm, give up the fight. For a moment I actually considered it. But then I thought of my father's voice. When someone blocks your barn, you don't ask for permission, you plow through. The next morning the Bentley was still there, gleaming in the sun like a silver blockade, taunting me. My cattle were restless, pacing by the fence. I walked up to Karen one last time, offered her an olive branch. Told her I'd help her find another place to park until her driveway was done. She lowered her glasses, smirked, and said, "Tom, you just don't get it. Your barn, your tractor, your whole farm, it drags down property values. If you don't like how this community is going, maybe you should move somewhere less civilized." That was it. Not just a car in front of a door, she was spitting on my family's legacy. I turned, walked to the shed. Her laughter followed me like nails on a chalkboard. She had no idea what kind of toy I was about to unleash. Because if words and laws couldn't move her, maybe raw horsepower could. I fired up my John Deere. The roar shook the ground. Chickens, scattered cows lifted their heads, and even the oaks seemed to tremble. Neighbors started gathering by the fence phones, out waiting to see if I was really about to do what they thought. I eased the tractor into the yard, the bucket glinting in the sunlight. Karen strutted over, hands on her hips. "That's a $200,000 vehicle, Tom. Touch it and I'll bury you in lawsuits." I leaned against the wheel, calm as Sunday morning. "Then move it." She didn't. I climbed back in, dropped the bucket, the hydraulics hissing like a beast waking up. Karen's smug smile faltered for the first time. The tractor rolled forward, each foot deliberate, the ground vibrating under its tires. I stopped just inches from the Bentley, the bucket poised above it like a guillotine. I shouted to the neighbors, "You all see this? She's blocked my barn all day, cattle going hungry while she poses with her car. I've had enough." A few nodded, one even clapped. I pressed the clutch and eased forward. The first crunch echoed like thunder. The Bentley's hood folded like a soda can chrome, snapping off and bouncing into the dirt. Gasps erupted. Karen shrieked, waving her arms. "Stop, you'll ruin it!" But I wasn't listening anymore. The windshield spider-webbed glass raining across the ground. Tires popped, airbags burst like surrender flags. The alarm wailed, blending with the roar of the tractor. Neighbors laughed, some cheering like it was a rodeo. I kept rolling until the car was nothing but a mangled heap, the smell of burnt rubber thick in the air. Karen fell to her knees, mascara running, screaming that she'd ruin me, bankrupt me. I cut the engine, climbed down, boots hitting the dirt. "You should have moved it when I asked," I said simply. The yard erupted in applause and nervous laughter. For the first time, Karen didn't look like a queen. She looked small. That's when the deputy pulled up, mouth-dropping at the sight of the wreck. Karen screeched, demanded he arrest me. I calmly explained she'd blocked my barn all day, stopping me from feeding livestock. I handed him a folded paper I kept in my back pocket, the Agricultural Protection Act. Blocking access to livestock facilities is illegal, whether it's a wheelbarrow or a Bentley. The deputy cleared his throat, nodded. "Technically, ma'am, Tom's right. His property's grandfathered in. This law applies." Karen went pale. The deputy wrote her a citation for unlawful obstruction of agricultural operations. She crumpled it in her fist, yelling that she was the victim, that the board would back her. But when she turned to the neighbors, she found crossed arms and cold stares. One called out, "You've been bullying folks for years, Karen." Karma finally caught up. Another added, "Maybe it's time someone else ran the HOA." The queen bee had lost her hive. Within days, the board voted her out as president. She stormed out of that meeting, clutching her citation like evidence of some grand conspiracy. But it didn't matter. The spell was broken. People weren't afraid of her anymore. That night I sat on my porch looking at the scarred earth where the Bentley had been crushed. I didn't fix it, didn't reseed the dirt. I liked seeing it there, a reminder that some things can't be bullied into submission. And for the first time in years, the farm felt quiet, free of her shadow. You want to know the lesson? Don't let arrogance block your barn door.